So anyway, hey guys, my name is Jacky. Clinton is, for those of you who are not joining us for the first time, you'll be very familiar with Clinton. Thank you for joining us again on your Friday night because we are all degen people. Unfortunately, we're here learning about how to make money and which is the best ecosystem to chong in right now, right? And we really wanted to start off by introducing you all about to the whole Fantom ecosystem. We think there's a lot of things that's happening in this space. We are so excited to share with you all. Let me just go to the slide. Clinton, can I just trouble you to go to slide number 2? So as you all know, if you are not with us for the first time, my name is Jacky. I'm one of the guys behind Debrief. We are also running a couple of media brands such as Falcon Post, Real Talk, the Daily Catch Up. Some of y'all we are trying to bring from the Daily Catch Up and Real Talk audience to the crypto world as well. For me, I think I'm quite bullish on the whole ecosystem, crypto space and blockchain space. For Clinton, he's our host, and he is actually more degen and more nerd than I am. Actually, so he created the slides lah. He said he's less of a nerd than I am, but actually he's much more nerdy than I am. So Clinton, we go to the next slide. The next slide is basically we just wanted to give a very quick self-shilling lah. For us, we want to be the platform for all things crypto. Hopefully you come through our website, right? You can learn about all things crypto. You join our community, ask us stuff, and learn from one another. I think the most important thing that for our community, right, is that we know that we're all going to make it together and we all learn from one another. And that one thing that I always tell people is that we are not bullish enough and we're still very, very early. So there's a lot of channels that we have with editorial, we have video series, we have our communities, and we're launching Pulse very, very soon. And hopefully, there's more products that we can, share with everyone over the next couple of quarter lah. Yeah. So let me just go to the next slide, Mr. Clinton. Okay, housekeeping rules. Mute your microphone. I think everyone's auto muted already. Every section. So we have this tonight's session, right? We have 3 sections, 3 parts. After every section, right, we have a mini Q&A so that you can just ask us any questions. If you don't understand anything, just type on the chat, and then we'll try to answer as many questions as we can. Any technical difficulties, just chat us up, and then let's have fun together lah. Okay. Let's go to slide number 5. Okay, so this is our agenda for tonight. Personally, I'm actually a bit excited for you, and personally for me, I'm learning as well. The first part, we're going to talk about what's Fantom. The breakdown is basically what's Fantom. The second one is what is the ecosystem? What can you do in it? The third, we're going to touch a bit more about Frog Nation. What is the term? And what's powering all of the what's catalyzing the whole ecosystem right now. The second portion will talk about how do you connect to the Fantom network? How do you move your asset across to the Fantom ecosystem and participate in all the DeFi protocols inside, right? So that's the second portion. And then after that, we'll talk about 3 key protocols that you should look at. So with that in mind, I will pass over my time to Mr. Clinton. There you go.
Okay, hi everyone. Thanks, Jacky. So for all of you joining us for the first time, welcome. For all of you who are returning, welcome back. It's time for the new year. Things move very quickly in crypto. So today we're going to talk about Fantom. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard about Fantom or heard more about Fantom recently. So it's a very interesting time in the ecosystem. And we do want to talk a little bit more about what's going on, and also to give you a good idea and understanding of the ecosystem. So what is Fantom? So Fantom is a layer 1 blockchain, similar to, I think some of you who are in crypto would be more familiar with like Solana, Avalanche, other alternatives to Ethereum. It is gaining popularity very quickly. If you look at this price chart, right, I think a lot of us track momentum by price movements. You can see that Fantom's price has really gone on a crazy spike since August last year. There was a dip. I'm sure all of you are aware that we went through a minor blip in the crypto market. Even right now, we're still a bit in it. But Fantom has recovered very quickly, because of a lot of the exciting stuff that's being built on the blockchain. So Fantom actually existed for some time already, but there was nothing much on Fantom. Last year, under the leadership of Andre Cronje, so he is really the founder of Yen Finance. He's been driving a lot of DeFi initiatives on Fantom. And one of the more unique things you see on the Fantom ecosystem is that there's a lot of DeFi, right? Some ecosystems like Solana, you see a lot more like gaming stuff, a lot more like sort of social stuff. But on Fantom, most of the protocols are actually hardcore within decentralized finance. And this is also something we want to talk about today. In August, one of the key catalysts for Fantom was that they launched an ecosystem fund, which basically provides capital to the fastest growing protocols on Fantom. And this attracted a lot of people to build on Fantom and to grow the Fantom ecosystem together. That also coincided with a lot of popular interest in Fantom, the token itself. And you know, that's really led a lot of the momentum. So I think someone drew a red line on the. Okay, so I'll just continue. So what differentiates Fantom? Like, I think one question we always get is like, what is different about particular blockchains, right? Like, for example, Solana always says that it's really fast, but if you've used it, you've known it's crashed a few times. Avalanche also prides itself on that, but some of us also went into some issues with the gas fees there. But one thing about Fantom that's very interesting is that if you are a user of Fantom, I think one thing you realize about Fantom is that the transaction speed on Fantom is really, really, really quite fast. So the key concept here is this notion of finality. So transactions on Fantom are settled at average of 1 second. That's really fast compared to Ethereum, where you're paying gas, right? And depending on how much gas you pay, that influences the speed of a transaction, and subsequently there's also a confirmation process by blocks. I don't want to bore you with the technical details, but what really differentiates Fantom is their underlying consensus mechanisms known as Lachesis, and this powers all of Fantom. For all of you that are curious, I think after today, if you haven't tried using Fantom, I would strongly encourage you to do that, because you can also get a feel for yourself, like what's the difference and whether it is a superior sort of technical solution. So that's on the technology side. So let's talk about the ecosystem, right? If you look at this sort of map that was prepared like late last year, you can already see very clearly that much of the Fantom ecosystem is overweight in DeFi. And one of the key reasons is that a lot of the builders who are building protocols on Fantom are actually drawing on quite a lot of the innovation that's happening on the Ethereum blockchain, where I would say most of the innovation is still centered, and transporting that into Fantom. Within Fantom itself, I'll talk about Frog Nation in a bit. We also have a lot of very prominent builders that some of you might be familiar with, who are building like the next generation of decentralized finance protocols within Fantom. So one very interesting thing about Fantom, when I first started using it, a lot of the initial protocols had like a spooky ghost kind of theme. And for the uninitiated, right, some of this might look a bit scammy, like it looks a bit like a scam, right? Like a ghost or whatever, like trying to spook you. But this is really more of a wordplay into the Fantom ecosystem. So the Fantom blockchain is called Fantom Opera, like Phantom of the Opera. So I think people are also quite humorous within this space. And a lot of the DeFi protocols actually themed around this like spooky, haunted Halloween sort of stuff that you'll see later on. Yeah. So what's Frog Nation? Some of you might have heard of this. And if you are in crypto for a while, or you're actively following a lot of crypto Twitter, right, you will be very familiar with Frog Nation. But for those of you who are not familiar, essentially it's a movement that's fronted by this guy called Daniel Sesta. So you might not know him, but you probably know what's time. A lot of you are in Wonderland, I suppose. You probably know what's meme and spell. Some of you are in this. And for those of you who don't know, time is one of the protocols where people sort of earn rebase tokens on their staking, and it's a fork of Olympus. So these are sort of quite advanced stuff, but we can leave it for later. But the concept behind this is that what they want to build is to create a decentralized financial system for the people. So this sounds a bit oxymoronic, right? Like I think remember for DeFi, we talked about it this before. We are very focused on creating more accessibility. But it's also very apparent to many people in the space that within DeFi, a lot of it is controlled by whales. Certain people, they have a lot of capital, they have disproportionate influence. Now you also see a lot of VCs, and big companies coming to the space. So I think this movement is really focused on creating sort of value from the bottom up, and that's sort of the movement. So if you can see, like his Twitter, like it's the French Revolution, and then they replace everyone's faces with frogs. So it's quite interesting. I think talked about a little bit about Andre Cornier just now. He's also part of Frog Nation. You can see on his Twitter, he's also put a frog as well as a ghost, beside him, his name. And one of the most interesting things about Frog Nation is that they will be launching a new project on Fantom. It will be a token that's distributed to users who are staking tokens within the top 20 protocols on Fantom. We'll talk a little bit about some of these protocols, but essentially what they're trying to do is to create even deeper sort of liquidity pools to drive DeFi within Fantom. So all in, I think, so that we don't overcomplicate things, what you can think of Fantom is that it is a blockchain that's fast growing momentum. A lot of stuff building on Fantom is focused on DeFi or advanced DeFi, as I would say it. And a lot of observers are looking at Fantom as the next ecosystem that will explode and become a very credible alternative to Ethereum, like Avalanche has grown to become over the past 3 to 4 months. Okay, so I'll pause here. We'll take a Q&A for this section. Happy to sort of answer anything.
Anyone got any questions so far, or we can just move on to the next section? No, I think everyone is quite familiar with Fantom, I guess. Evan asks, so Fantom is like Ethereum where we transfer coin via it. Clinton, you want to answer this?
Yeah, so Fantom is another blockchain. So it's not on Ethereum. So it's another network where you can transfer your tokens. In the next section, we'll run you through how you can get your stuff on Fantom. So that's coming next. So we'll give you an idea of that. Yeah. There's a question on security and gas fee. So I think Fantom, that there's not really any sort of security issue. This is a chain that's fairly established. It's also quite decentralized. So in many ways, I think Fantom is a decent blockchain from that perspective. Gas fees on Fantom are extremely low. It has come up quite a bit because the price of FTM has come up quite a lot. I think last year you were seeing Fantom at sub $1. Now it's closer to like $2.5 to $3. So the gas fees have come up, but it is still a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of what you pay on Ethereum. So usually in the sense, yeah. Question on whether Fantom differentiates from Solana and Avalanche. Yeah, so this is a very interesting question. So maybe I'll talk about Solana first. Solana is not Ethereum virtual machine compatible. So what this means is that Solana is running on a programming language called Rust, which also means that everything on Ethereum can't port over to Solana so easily. They are building a solution there so to allow this, but at this present moment, everything that's building on Solana is sort of quite siloed in a sense. Avalanche is Ethereum compatible. So, you see a lot of people forking stuff from Ethereum to Avalanche, and Fantom is the same. So I would say that Fantom is a lot more similar to Avalanche at some level, but the architecture of Fantom technologically is different. From a user perspective, I think you don't need to care so much because at the end of the day, like I think for most of us, it is about the user experience that's important. Like how do you transact? How fast are transactions? How does this feed into your own investment theses, etc., etc. So I would say that, yeah. Okay, Jacky, I think quite a lot of questions are flowing in right now.
Yes. Hi. Sorry, I just realized that there's a meeting capacity of 100. Oh my god! But okay, let me just take a look at it.
Okay. Maybe I'll answer the questions. Then
yes,
try and
yes,
sort
go
out
for
the
it.
technical stuff. Yeah.
Yes. I'm trying to get more people in.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So can Ethereum not advance to faster transactions and lower gas fees? That's a great question. So right now in the current state of the network, no. Ethereum is sort of having a very big problem with scalability. That's one main reason why alternative chains like Avalanche, Fantom have really gained a lot of momentum. And so what building on Ethereum now is like there's a lot of focus on this thing called layer 2, which are scaling solutions that attempt to break through the problem of high transaction fees and speed, right? By creating subchains or sort of other mechanisms for users to transact. So that's really sort of the issue now. What's the price potential of Fantom? Okay, so this is something very, very interesting. So maybe let me pull up a quick chart. Okay, just give me a second. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so I think one good way to think about price potential is to look at the market capitalization of some of the top tokens, right? So if you scroll, okay, look, Fantom is currently 25th, right, at 7 billion. So this is, if you compare this with other chains, Fantom is still quite far behind. So if you look at, for example, Nia, which has been very popular recently, it is still significantly lower. Avalanche, it's about 3 times less. So I guess the question, and Solana is even more, right? So I guess the question for a lot of you on the call today, thinking about like value and stuff like that, I think it's important to ask yourself the question, like, do you believe that Fantom can scale to a point like Avalanche presently? And if you believe that, then you would expect the price to converge more than diverge. So it's always a question about the ecosystem, how fast it's growing, and also the sort of value proposition of the ecosystem. So I would encourage everyone to look at these metrics as you're assessing value from this perspective. Yeah. Give me a second. Let me just look through the other questions. Okay, I think there are quite a lot of questions on the bridging part. I will go.
We can move on to the next section first. Yeah.
Yeah. So the next section will address this. So I'll take all these questions in the next section. Okay, so a lot of you will be curious, like, how do you access Fantom? It's very simple. Like, I think we've gone through this a few times for the past few chains. Because Fantom is EVM compatible, so the process to access Fantom is actually very straightforward. If you're already using a MetaMask wallet, all you need to do is to go to the network section, and basically you'll be able to connect to Fantom by inputting this manually into the network. Once you do so, you will be already connected to Fantom Opera, and you will be able to transfer tokens to your MetaMask on Fantom. And this can be done in 2 ways. So the first way is really to use bridges. We've talked about this before in the past, about bridges and how they are expensive and maybe not the most user-friendly. But over the past 6.5 months, I think bridges have improved a lot. And the cost efficiency of bridging has also, improved a lot. So one of the best ways to get your assets onto Fantom is to use a bridge like AnySwap or Synapse. These are the 2 I would recommend, but there are also others out there in the market. These function very similarly to the Matic and Terra bridges. So basically, all you need to do is to connect to the network that you're on. It would give you the option to transfer your assets to the Fantom mainnet. And basically, you just need to click a button, pay the gas fee, and then you will route your transaction, as well as your tokens to Fantom Opera. Alternatively, a much more cost-efficient way is to acquire FTM on a centralized exchange. So it could be FTX. So FTX doesn't allow it, but there are some exchanges that will allow you to actually withdraw Fantom onto the Fantom network. So I want to emphasize this because it's very important. For example, if we use FTX and buy Fantom, right, you are only able to transfer Fantom out as an ERC20 token. So what this means is that your Fantom token, right, is actually on the Ethereum network. And to get it onto Fantom, you would need to bridge it again. So there are other centralized exchanges. I think crypto.com actually allows you to transfer it directly to Fantom by selecting Fantom mainnet as an option to withdraw. So this is something that you definitely need to take note. If you were to compare the 2, obviously centralized exchange transfer is more cost efficient because you don't have to pay a gas fee for the bridging. However, I think a lot of us have started to experience this, right? For centralized exchanges, sometimes the withdrawal processes can take very long. And you might have very limited control as to what you can do in that time. For example, if your transaction is stuck, you have to email support. You basically have to ask for help, right? And sometimes you don't actually get help. For example, if you do it on a weekend, you have to wait till Monday, probably. Sometimes the help desk take like 48 hours to get back to you. So this is something that you definitely need to keep in mind. So today I want to show you also, how the bridge looks like at the present moment, and just talk through a little bit. So if we were to look at, like currently AnySwap, right? I'm on AnySwap right now. All you need to do is basically go to your MetaMask. Let's say you're on Ethereum. So let's say you have tokens on Ethereum. It's actually quite a simple process where you can select, a token, any token you want. Like there are many, many tokens. And then all you need to do is to swap, and it will bridge your tokens from Ethereum to Fantom. So note that they will only support the tokens that are in this list, but it's quite a long list. You would have to pay a gas fees, and then these are some of the metrics that you have to take note of. And any swap is a very good solution. Another good solution that I like to use is Synapse. So that gives you also another option. This is also very simple. It's quite idiot proof, to be honest. Basically, you can just transfer, like for example, USDC from Ethereum to Fantom just directly by bridging. And all you need to do is to connect your wallet. It's as simple as that. So the interfaces for bridges have become almost as seamless as swaps. And there are protocols within Fantom that allow you to bridge as well. So for example, we'll talk a bit about SpookySwap later, but SpookySwap itself has a inbuilt bridge that allows you to transfer tokens from Ethereum to Fantom and vice versa. So, these are just some of the things that you can potentially do. Okay, so that's sort of quite a brief section on tokens, how you get it on Fantom, how do you access the network. So I think it'd be good now if we just switch over to some questions. And then happy to answer more of these questions in this section.
So for the first timers, so I wanted to also recap a little bit about what we have done over the past WAGMIs, right? So during the first session, right, what we basically do is that we did an introduction on how do you set up your MetaMask, how do you move your asset from centralized exchanges over to MetaMask. So I think Clinton sort of zoom fast it a little bit because it might be a bit beginner content. But for those of you who may not be familiar with all this bridges stuff, right? Essentially, what happens is that for me, for example, right, what I do is that I buy my Ethereum on, let's say, CoinHako or like KuCoin or like FTX, for example, right? Once I have the ETH ready, I will transfer my ETH over to my MetaMask. Okay, and the ETH will be now sitting on my MetaMask wallet, but the ETH on my MetaMask wallet is still on the ETH network. Okay, and that being on the ETH network, right? You can't use it on the Fantom ecosystem, which is why you need to use the bridges to bridge your ETH on the ETH network over to the Fantom network. Okay, which is the whole section, which is basically this section lah. Okay, let me just see some of the questions. If there isn't, so YL asks, if there isn't a direct withdrawal from SEX to Fantom, the most cost-efficient way is to get BNB. Yeah. So actually right now, SEX, centralized exchanges, right, they do have a lot of withdrawals from directly towards Fantom already. Like, because I use KuCoin as my primary centralized exchange right now, KuCoin actually allows you to do direct Fantom transfer over to the Fantom network. You can buy FTM on KuCoin, right? And then you can deposit the FTM directly onto the Fantom network. So actually, the Fantom withdrawals on SEXs are quite a bit advanced and convenient right now lah. Yeah, let me see the bridges. Yeah, last time I think the bridge is a bit more fun lah. So you need to bridge your BNB, all those kind of stuff lah. Wei Jun asks, is there an NFT market for FTM? I don't think so. Clinton, do you know, anyone know of any NFT marketplaces on FTM? No, right? PainSwap, someone say PainSwap, okay. Yeah, but I mean, for FTM, they're not known for their NFT network. Yeah, sorry, there's no NFT market.
No, actually, Jacky, so yeah, PainSwap is the one that people are using. But it is really not much on NFT. There's also Art Ion. People might have heard of this. So that's also one of the key marketplaces. But if you go to Art Ion, you will see that there's nothing much there as well. So I think it's still growing. You have to give it some time.
Okay. Okay, I think that should be all of the questions so far. Okay, we run through the three protocols. I think after the three protocols, I think there will be more questions lah.
Okay, sure. Everyone can hear me, right? Sorry.
Yes.
I'm having some technical issues. Okay, good. Okay, so I think this is probably the part that most of you will be more interested in, right? So if you look at Fantom, we're going to talk about three protocols today. So the first one we're going to talk about is SpookySwap. So SpookySwap is the number one decentralized exchange in AMM on Opera. So just for the newcomers here, basically this is like the main place where you exchange tokens on Fantom. It has the broadest set of tokens, and other than that, you can also earn rewards by staking your tokens in the farm, or by providing tokens in the liquidity pair, to get rewards as well. So for those of you that have looked at Fantom for a while, right? When SpookySwap first launched, it looked a bit like dodgy, like, to be very honest. Like, like this is cartoony stuff and it was a bit weird. But just to give everyone some comfort, currently SpookySwap is the number one DEX. There's $1.5 billion locked in the protocol. So this is legit. It's very unlikely that it's not going to be a rug, basically, I'm going to say. And if you are on Fantom, I think it's a good port of call for you to go to SpookySwap and look at the universe of tokens there. Sometimes you can also explore what's on the ecosystem. The native token on SpookySwap is called Boo, B-O-O, like Boo. So it's quite an interesting token because there's a lot of utility on SpookySwap for Boo, and you can either single stake this or provide liquidity for rewards. So for those of you that were on the BSC call previously, I think what I would liken is that Boo is similar to Cake, also similar to Sushi on Ethereum, and it's one of those exchange tokens that you can use. So how do you earn yield on Boo? Basically, the current APR for Boo is about 37%. And it's very simple. All you need to do is to go to SpookySwap. You exchange Fantom or any other token for Boo. And what you do is that you lock your Boo into the protocol. And they give you this thing called XBoo. So Boo can be swapped for XBoo in a growing ratio. So basically, if you swap it today, right, the ratio of Boo that you get back for every XBoo will be going up. And the reason is because they actually automatically compound the pool by using a portion of all the fees generated by the protocol to buy back Boo. So essentially what you're doing is that you are sort of investing in the long-term growth of the protocol in particular. And as all of us know, exchanges earn money from trading fees. And the trading fees here don't go to like a company or a person. They go to everyone that holds Boo and stakes it. So this is very important for you to remember. Okay, what's the risk here, right? Like, sounds like really good. Basically, you're exposed to price risk on Boo. So if the price of Boo goes down, then this is something that you are exposed to. A lot of people also wonder, like, are these tokens like correlated with the price of Fantom? I think the answer is at some level, yes. But the relationship itself is not so straightforward. For a lot of tokens on Fantom, right, when Fantom goes up, they all go up like a lot. But when Fantom goes down, they also go down by a lot. So you have to be very careful about these dynamics. And one thing that's very important to remember is that for these kind of tokens, right, you also need to look at what kind of rewards that they're giving. If you are on a AMM DEX that's giving like crazy rewards, like few thousand%, right? Some of you might have been on Kronos doing VVS for a while. The problem with these protocols is that they do exhaust at some point, because the money printing doesn't work in this way. Like, it's not a money heist style where you can just permanently print. Like, even they had a timeline, to get out. And it's the same. So when emissions are high, i.e., if they are printing a lot of token to distribute as rewards, you can also expect price to come down over time. And I'll show you the price chart for Boo later so that you can make your own judgments as well. Other than Boo, you can also provide liquidity pairs on SpookySwap. I would encourage people to look at this more because SpookySwap is fairly stable and established. And if you look at the pairs here, they are pretty legitimate pairs. So FTM Boo is the main pair, but you can also stake USDC FTM. And when you do a pair like that, you are essentially exposed to price risk on FTM and also impermanent loss. But on the other side of the equation, the USDC side, you're not exposed to any loss. So I've covered this in the LP sessions like before, but for those that are new, essentially when you provide liquidity in a pair, right, what happens is that you are exposed to this concept called impermanent loss, where when the price of different tokens change and the ratio changes, you will not get back as much as you would if you held the token itself, like individually. There's a tool to calculate this. I think later we can share this if anyone's interested. But essentially it would show you like how much you potentially would lose or not earn if you were to provide liquidity versus if you held it. But in exchange for that, what you get is rewards. So if you look at all the pairs here, right, the rewards are fairly attractive. Like for USDC FTM, you can get 99% APR. That's actually pretty high, for a token that's growing. So conceptually, if you believe FTM is going to appreciate in price, you also want some yield, this pair might not be such a bad idea for you. Yeah. So maybe what I can do now is let me just pause the screen sharing and shift to the desktop. So I'll just show you SpookySwap. So everyone can see the screen, right? So it's quite simple. All you need to do is to connect your MetaMask wallet.
Sorry, we cannot see the screen.
Oh, you can't see the screen? Okay,
Yep.
give me a second.
It's still your PowerPoint slide. Yep.
Okay, can everyone see?
Your desktop wallpaper right now.
Okay, let me. Can see?
Yes, now.
Okay, great. Okay, let me just. Okay, is this better? Okay, so SpookySwap is quite intuitive, like it's not very complicated, and it's very user friendly. So if you go to swap, you can swap any token you want, like Fantom to Boo. Let's say you want to swap 100, they show you the rates and you can adjust the slippages, etc. So it's quite similar. This is the basic mode. You can also switch to expert mode, where this is like you actually have, a trading view. This is very new. This never happened before last time, but you can see the speed of building on Fantom is really quite amazing. Now you can track these things. This will be very familiar to some of you that trade, but they've integrated a lot of things into SpookySwap as well. The farm is here, so as you can see, here you can basically stake your liquidity tokens for you, and it's a very simple process. All you need to do is click approve, and you can stake. And then the farm, the Boo staking is here.
Wait, Clinton is lagging or the website is lagging? Oh,
I don't know.
Clinton lagging.
Oh. Technical error. Lost him. Hey, Clinton, you are lagging. Okay, I think you're back.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, I think SpookySwap crash your shit.
No, Apple crashed, not SpookySwap. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I have more faith in the blockchain than my computer. Okay. Okay. Can everyone see the screen? All right. So yeah, SpookySwap, very simple. So you can stake Boo. Like this is what I showed you just now, and you can basically you can earn your token of choice over time actually if you stake your X Boo. So it's like double staking. It's actually quite an interesting concept, but I'll encourage you to play around with it. So what's the risk, right? You have to look at the token price. So if I show you the token price here, let me just go to CoinGecko just to show you. Yeah, so a lot of people find like interacting with these protocols very like attractive because of the profitability in terms of like some of the rewards that you get. But there are a lot of risk involved. So if I show you like the 1 year price chart, right? Yeah, give me a second. Yeah, maybe it's not Apple, maybe it's Singtel, but okay, yeah, you can see the price fluctuations. Like, when it first launched, $20+, collapsed all the way to $5 to $6, $2, $3, right? And then it rebounded. So if you think about it, right, why is it like that? There was a point in SpookySwap's growth where they were just like giving away tokens, right? And people farm and they sell the token and the price collapses. But over time, as SpookySwap became a lot more established, people started staking Boo. People started using
Clinton, you're lagging again. It could be your internet connection. Spooky. We did a trial run just now, but I think it's probably just a mini problem right now. I think it's the internet connection lah. Okay, so I think while we wait for Clinton to connect, right? Is there anyone with any questions so far? There's going to be 3 protocols that I want to run through. The first one is basically the spooky swap. The second one, oh, Clinton is back already. Hey, hi, Clinton. I see you moving around already.
And can you hear me? So sorry, I'm not sure what's going on. The Phantom is here, yeah. Sorry, Jackie, you were saying something?
No. I just trying to, say something to not so be awkward over here while waiting for you to reconnect.
Okay, I'm back. So I think I was just saying that for all the people who are very interested in these protocols, right? Like you do have to be very careful because look, if you held it all the way, you have earned good money, right? For sure. But when you see things like that happen, there's a strong temptation to get out. And a lot of people like us who have been through this, the graph might not look like that, it might just stop here, you know what I mean? And you have to be very cognizant of this fact when you're interacting with these protocols, which is why if you look at SwapSwap, you have alternatives. Like you can obviously stake Boo, for rewards, but you can also not use Boo, right? You could always just do a Fantom USDC pair, which basically you're only exposed to risk on Fantom. So it really depends how degen you are, like how hardcore you want to be. But please be aware of the risk. I think it's very important to always keep that in mind as you interact with all these protocols. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna swap back to the slides. Okay, so the next protocol I'm going to talk about is Geist. Geist is a very interesting protocol. Basically, some of you might have heard of Aave. So this is a leading lending protocol on Ethereum. And this was forked onto Fantom.
Sorry, Clinton. The slides. We pull up the slides.
Yeah. Sorry, can everyone see the slides?
Yes, we can.
Thanks so much. Okay, so Geist is very interesting because it's a fork of Aave. So this is the leading lending protocol on Ethereum. And there's currently about $850 million locked inside Geist. Why it's interesting is because Geist, when Geist first started, right, they incentivized users to use Geist by giving like really, really insane rewards. And that led to the price of Geist collapsing very, very quickly. So I'm going to show you again later the price chart for Geist so you can make your own judgments. But essentially what you do on Geist is that you deposit collateral and you lend assets based on your preferred risk profile. So some of you that use MIM and Spell would be familiar with this. You deposit asset and you get Magic Internet money. Conceptually, Geist does the exact same thing. But basically you can get different assets. For example, you can deposit Fantom to get Fantom. You can deposit USDC to get Fantom, etc., etc. So let me just switch to the desktop just to show you Geist. Wait a second. Yeah, everyone can see, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. So yeah, so Geist has a very simple interface, and essentially, like all protocols, right? You connect your wallet, and then you are able to basically access the.
You click the browser wallet. Yep.
Sorry, computer is lagging a little bit. Okay, so once you're connected, right, you can basically deposit your tokens. Like, for example, if you want to deposit Fantom, they also show you the full metrics. So if you look at this, right, I would say that at the current capitalization, Geist is fairly stable. You can see how much is being borrowed, how much available liquidity there is. And this gives you a very good idea of like whether this, the last thing you want from a lending protocol is for it to collapse without enough collateralization. And I think in the protocol itself, at this stage of the growth, it's fairly safe. One of the reasons why they gave so much rewards at the start was because as a lending protocol, you need to attract a lot of assets into the protocol to stabilize the protocol before you can really lend aggressively across different assets. So other than sort of lending and borrowing, you can also sort of manage Geist. So basically, you can stake your Geist for APR. Here it's about 41%. Or you could lock your Geist for a period of time, 3 months basically, and get 161% APR. So it's 4 times of the normal staking rewards. So when Geist first launched, right, it was really crazy. So let me just show you the price chart for Geist. So Geist was giving like I think 1,000+% rewards, and this basically led to the price of Geist like collapsing very, very rapidly. So it went down from $35 to like $150, and a lot of people would remember this part of the curve. Yeah, rather than this whole part. So it's been on a downward trend ever since. So if you are interacting with, the token guys itself, I would advise you to be very, very cautious, purely because these things can happen. So it's not always up only, it can be down. So it's always good to keep this in mind when you're interacting with protocols. Yeah. Okay, so that's guys. I'm going to go to the next one, which is probably one of the more interesting ones that some of you might have heard of. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So Tomb Finance is probably one of the most interesting protocols on Fantom right now. It's an algorithmic stablecoin, but it's not pegged to a stablecoin per se. So if you are a user of Luna, Terra Luna, you'll be familiar with the concept of a stablecoin, like Luna and UST and sort of the pegging mechanism behind it. So Tomb is a algorithmic stablecoin solution that's native to Fantom, but the difference here is that one Tomb is pegged to one Fantom. So it's not a stablecoin, but it's pegged to the actual price of Fantom. And on the protocol itself, right, you're incentivized to behave depending on whether Tomb is above or under the peg to Fantom. So why do you need Tomb? Okay, so like one very important point is that a lot of people want to hold Fantom. They don't actually want to transact in Fantom. So when you have a mirror asset to Fantom, that actually really, really improves the liquidity of Fantom. So if you think about it, let's say you peg an asset to gold bars, right? You might not want to like liquidate your gold bar to buy something, but you might want to use something else that's equivalent to the price of the gold bar to transact. And this really is what Tomb is trying to build in a nutshell. So if I show you very quickly what Tomb looks like, just give me a second. Yeah. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. So Tomb is a very interesting protocol because remember at the start I mentioned about sort of advanced DeFi, right? I think Tomb lies at sort of the fringe of this in terms of what's really interestingly being built. So why you shouldn't take Tomb with a pinch of salt? There's $1.3 billion locked inside this protocol. And one of the most interesting things about Tomb is that, remember I told you that Tomb is pegged to FTM, right? And just now when we were looking at the other liquidity pairs, you are exposed to the price risk of one other token. But when you deposit liquidity in a Tomb FTM pair, essentially you are almost single-sided staking. What I mean is that because the price of Tomb is more or less pegged to the price of Fantom, you are exposed almost purely just to the price risk of Fantom as you gain rewards. So this is something that is very interesting and also something that I would encourage all of you to explore. Why do I say that? Not exactly. It's because Tomb is not 100% aligned with Fantom. Like the peg is not perfect. And many times Tomb is either trading above or below the peg of Fantom. As I mentioned, users are incentivized to behave in certain ways when it is above or below the peg. But what you are basically rewarded for, in Tomb is that you get an APR of about 240% on pretty much conceptually a single-sided staking option. Why is this risky? I think a lot of you are in Luna, right? Like a lot of you hold Luna and Anchor and stuff like that. Even though it feels very safe, there's a possibility that UST can depeg. And if you look at the UST chart, right, there's a certain period of time where UST has traded like 0.95, like it's not $1. And when it depegs, right, there's a lot of price risk for the underlying token. In this case, it's similar concept. In situations of like more extreme dislocation, a lot of drawdowns will happen on the protocol. So you are rewarded for this kind of risk by staking your tokens and locking them, basically, in a nutshell. So it's something very interesting. I'll encourage all of you, especially you guys who have spent more time in DeFi, in other ecosystems, just to look through it and understand it a bit more. I think it's always useful to learn about these things because you will see a lot more similar kind of things coming out in the future, especially on other blockchains where the native tokens are quite valued. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to pause here. I do want to sort of take questions because I think this part usually invites the most questions. So maybe we can just jump to that.
Yeah. So there was a quick note. Tomb actually has a new UI. It's tomb.com. This is news to me also. You have to go to the website.
Sorry,
Yeah.
give me a second.
Okay, I think a lot of people are very interested in Tomb.
Okay,
Let me-
yeah, new UI. Oh, this looks nice.
yeah,
I
it
don't know.
is.
I'm old. I always use the legacy one.
Yeah, I'm also on the old legacy one. So okay, let me just see what are the questions are. Sure, I'm just skimming through. I mean, a lot of people are asking about the pegging stuff. Like, you want to explain a little bit more. How is
Yeah.
the Tomb price pegged to the price of FTM? And the T share and basically T bond lah.
Yeah, so Tomb is pegged to FTM, not USD. So it's not like one USD is one Tomb. One Tomb is one FTM. So that's the sort of peg of the way. So conceptually, how it works is that basically you are encouraged to either bond and deposit tokens, or to buy T-shares to basically maintain the peg. So conceptually, right, like when you buy, just to give an analogy, I think it's easier to understand. Like when you buy Luna, you are investing in the pegging mechanism of UST essentially, and there's balancing there because there will be buybacks and sells depending on the movement of UST with the USD. So similarly here, this is the case. If you think about it conceptually, there's a lot more risk here because UST is a US dollar peg coin, right? So you are pegging it to a US dollar. But Tomb, you're pegging it to actually Fantom. And if you look at the price of Fantom, it's actually fluctuated quite a bit occasionally. So that's also why instead of 20%, you are compensated with 240%. So conceptually, that's sort of how it works, right? And but I would say this, right? If you are bullish on Fantom and you want to hold Fantom and you want to earn yield on Fantom and you don't mind taking this risk, Tomb actually offers you a very good option to actually get pretty good yields on an LP pair rather than like doing, let's say, rather than doing like FTM USDC, where basically half your LP is USDC. So you don't actually have the FTM exposure in your LP pair. Yeah. So yeah, I think a lot of people are quite interested in Tomb. I do encourage all of you to read more about Tomb. It's a very interesting protocol. And I think you have to explore a little bit more to understand it because the mechanisms behind it are not that easy to explain, not that straightforward. But I just want to sort of give everyone the like overview and concept, and if you explore more, and want to engage more, like for example on TG, etc. Please feel free. I think it'll be good as well. Yeah, this is a very interesting protocol.
Yeah. I think so. There's one person asking. So there are a lot of other DeFi protocols out there. So I think one of the there's a few other popular ones, right? LQDR, there's Beats also. But those are more, I think, a little bit more advanced, I think. And I think the top three that we probably choose today is basically Tomb, Geist, and Spooky Sword lah, which I think is more beginner friendly, I guess. Like even for me personally, right? My FTM stuff, right? I only put it on. I do LPs on Spooky Swap. I do LPs on which one, Tomb, and then the guys, I have some exposure as well. The rest of the protocols are more too degen ready and too high risk ready. Now I feel like if you want to play, then you can go and explore and look around the whole ecosystem lah. Yeah. I think that should be, or BB just asked, will we be able to watch today's presentation again? Yes, it will be on YouTube. I'm such an idiot. So sorry, guys. So like Zoom changed their pricing plan. So there's only 100 max participant. We actually have almost 300 people signing up. So I think a lot of people are going to hate me after this, but we'll upload this on YouTube lah. But yes. As of all WAGMI series, we're going to put it on YouTube. Yeah. I think that should be it. Any last questions about FTM? So maybe just let me quickly recap, right? So I guess tonight, the first part, what we basically wanted to share with everyone is, the Fantom ecosystem. Actually, I can't remember whether Clinton mentioned this in terms of the market cap over TVL, right? Actually, right now, Clinton, can you go to DeFi Llama? Did we talk about DeFi Llama just now? Didn't, right?
Give me a second. Let me switch there now. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So the reason why we wanted to highlight Fantom right now, right, is that at Chain Debrief we look at all the protocols, all the blockchains on the board more. We need to have some reasonings behind why we push certain stuff, right? So actually, in terms of TVL right now, there's a lot of liquidity moving into the Fantom ecosystem. So in terms of like, let me just highlight. Can you highlight we go to blockchain. We don't go to chain. This is protocol level. We go to chain, left menu. Yeah. So if we go to the left menu, right? Yeah, so correct. So on DeFi Llama, quite interesting. What you can do is you can look at all the different blockchains. How many protocols are there? So Clinton, can you scroll down a little bit so that we can see? Okay. The top few, right? The highest TVL is ETH right now, and then if you look at the MCAP over TVL, right? For Fantom is actually 1.07, which means if you compare to, let's say, Solana, for example, right? The TVL is at 9.5 billion, which means that's the total liquidity in the whole blockchain, right? And they're trading at almost 40 billion market cap right now, which is about 4.8 times. But for Fantom, it's only trading at 1.7, 1.8 times. So it's actually very fairly valued compared to all the other blockchains out there. Like BSC, for example, is trading at 5.4 times. AVAX is almost 2 times. Solana is actually very, very expensive. But Fantom is fairly priced, number one. Number two, there's a lot of innovative protocols that are launching on the Fantom ecosystem. And I think if there's a lot more projects that are launching, right, it means that liquidity are going to flow from other protocols, other blockchains over the Fantom ecosystem. And with that, right, I think that will sort of support the price. So I think that's something that, we're quite excited to share with everyone. So that's Fantom ecosystem, Fantom blockchain. To move your asset to, interact with the DeFi protocol, right, what you need to do is basically bridge your asset over to the Fantom ecosystem. Very straightforward. What I do is I buy my Fantom on KuCoin, and then on KuCoin, I can just do a direct transfer to my Fantom address. So they allow Fantom network withdrawals already. So it's quite advanced already. Otherwise, if your assets are on the MetaMask, right, on the ETH network, right, you can also bridge it using the bridges that Clinton mentioned just now. So that's the second portion of tonight. The third portion is that what we ran through earlier just now is basically there are 3 protocols that we think is interesting. Number one is SpookySwap. So SpookySwap is like PancakeSwap like that. Basically, you provide liquidity and then you can provide LPs and earn fees from all the LP pools, right? So that's SpookySwap. The second one is Geist. Geist is a lending and borrowing protocol, almost like the Aave of Fantom . So that's the second one. And the third one is basically Tomb Finance, which is basically all the rage right now, because a lot of interesting stuff, a lot of interesting mechanisms happening on the whole Tomb Finance ecosystem, blockchain protocol, and a lot of liquidity are moving into Tomb Finance as well. Yeah, so I guess that's what we wanted to share with everyone. And obviously, we basically just scratch the surface only, and there's just so many interesting protocols on FTM. As always, this is not financial advice. We just share with you all the information. You'll do with whatever you want and whatever you need with the information. And what Clinton wanted to highlight just now is actually, yes, it's also very, very exciting. But if you look at the price chart, right, Geist was at $20, or like SpookySwap was at $20, drop all the way to $2, right? So, you'll have to decide and weigh your risk and, see where you should allocate your portfolio and whatnot. So I guess that's probably it. Okay, there's some last minute questions coming up. Crypto.com or KuCoin cheaper to get FTM? I think it's almost the same. Actually, I never compare, but personally, I use KuCoin because I'm familiar with it. Yeah. DT, this also means that FTM has a lot of potential to grow into any upcoming dApps. I think there's a lot of like new decentralized application coming into the Fantom protocol. Actually is a bit too hard to keep up already. So for me, I don't look at, personally for me, I don't look at the new protocols already. I feel like it's a bit too degen for me to chase all those stuff. And I think just too many to there might be scam or like those ruggable projects that might launch, right? So we don't know lah. Felicia, is the current price of FTM a good buy in point? Nobody can tell you whether it's a good price or not, right? If we know that we're gonna be all millionaires already, right? So well, I mean, again, we will defer you to DeFi Llama, as compared to all the different protocols, all the different blockchains, sorry. Fantom right now, the MCAP over TVL is actually the cheapest of them all. So that alone, I think, is a fairly priced blockchain. That's all we can say based on the MCAP over TVL. Okay, one more question. Oh, how different is Fantom from Aurora? Aurora is a near protocol. Yes. Aurora is a L2 while FTM is a L1. Yes, that's correct. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I think that should be all. I think, yeah, Clinton, can you go back to the slides? There's some stuff that we wanted to share with everyone as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so we go to slide 23. Yes, so as you all know, we at Chain Debrief, we recently launched our Genesis NFT collection. We've spoken a fair bit about it on our various channels. We wanted to also update everyone that our NFT collection is something that we are spending a lot of time on. The whole idea of us doing our NFT collection, right, is that how can we have more people participate in the Chain Debrief ecosystem and that share our vision, right? So like for myself or Clinton, for example, we're taking our time off, and the team also, we're trying to push for education and mass onboarding of the non-crypto people to the crypto world. And we're just getting started, and we hope that if you guys are interested in supporting our Genesis collection, do keep a lookout for the launch and the announcement on our website. We are launching a very, very small collection, and the utility that comes along with our Genesis collection, right, is that if you are an NFT holder, if you are our NFT holder, right, you'll get access to all of the future events that we do. That's number one. Number two, we're going to launch blockchain reports. We're going to launch, maybe next time we might charge for WAGMI series, because other people, they're charging ridiculous amount of money for this kind of session. But if you are our NFT holder, right, you get access to all of our future events, not just WAGMI series, we might do other stuff as well. We might be doing conferences and whatnot. So that might happen also. But beyond just that, we are also launching our own product, which is Pulse. Very similar to DeFi Llama. Hopefully it's better than DeFi Llama. We might charge for that, but for our NFT holder, you'll get access to all the products that we're launching. And beyond just that, if other projects partner with us for, let's say, whitelist and whatnot, right, you'll all be passed on to our Genesis NFT holders. So this is for our first NFT collection. We are doing whitelist right now. We're collecting wallets to whitelist. So for our Genesis collection, right, for this session, we're doing a sort of like a not so secret whitelist. But if you want to be whitelisted, we are opening up a few dedicated whitelists for all of you tonight. But you need to do something. So number one, what you need to do is that you need to tweet about your biggest learnings tonight on the WAGMI, include Chain Debrief in your tweet. And then the second thing is that in the thread, right, tell us why you want to mint our NFT lah. And then you tag 3 friends and then keep your DM open, and then our moderators will DM you. So this is our first Genesis NFT. There's the story behind Enlightened Red lah, but the brief version is that all of us are still in a red race. We are still grinding. We're hopeful that, hopefully crypto and blockchain is going to be our ticket out of the red race. And we're trying to accrue a lot of value to our NFT holder. It's a very, very small collection, and hopefully we can get a lot of support from our community members lah. Yeah, I think that should be roughly it. The last thing is, next slide, please. Yeah, so okay, so this is something that Clinton and I wanted to do. We wanted to get some feedback. Okay, we wanted to ask everyone, what do you think of the sessions? Are the sessions too simple? Is it too advanced for you? You all can start typing. Let us know, because we don't know whether this is good or bad. Balance. Hoping to get enlisted. Okay, they're quite balanced. Okay, Evan says a bit too advanced because I know that's fine. Okay, still okay. Okay, Evan. How can we make it easier for slightly more simplistic? Okay, balance. So everyone is okay lah. Balance. Foreign for first timer. Balance. Okay, scenario based. Okay. Balance. I think since we talk about investing, we should start by informing the risk upfront. Oh, okay. I mean, everyone also do the not financial advice thing, right? So, but yeah, as you all know, not financial advice lah. So again, all the things that we do at Change Debrief, our goal is not to ask you all to buy stuff. Our goal, we're in the business of teaching you about blockchain, educating about this whole cool thing about crypto. We're not asking you to buy any coins. Okay, and if we do, yeah, we're not gonna ask. I think if the day comes, if we ask y'all to buy shit coins, right? Y'all please fuck me lah. Please copy me lah. Okay. Let me see. I think need to encourage people to watch past series, easy to understand. I hope to learn more about DeFi LP, breakout group, more explaining. Could do Solana ecosystem, so we help each other. Okay, so I think the generic consensus is still quite balanced lah. Okay. Second thing is that what do you want to be covered more in the WAGMI series? Any suggestions of improvement? Solana 不要啦 Solana old news already. Solana a bit chui right now. But we try. It's on our list also lah. Near, okay. But I mean, right now how we structure is basically we talk about blockchain, right? I mean there are also other stuff like we can talk about NFT, for example. We can talk about Axie Infinity, for example, right? There's so many things, right? So we're still thinking about what's next lah. Curve war, curve war, okay. Auto compounders, okay, these are all advanced degen stuff lah. Okay, Choto, slow down guys. WAGMI is more for beginners. Okay, it's more for we want to make sure that WAGMI series is for the it's accessible for the public lah. Okay, yeah, curve war is too complex already. Like when we started WAGMI series, right, it's like our first session is basically teach people how to start MetaMask, you know what I mean? So we want to make sure that we onboard as many, we want to help people get started as much as possible. And then we teach all the degen stuff lah. Yeah, so curve war is a bit too complex already. Okay. Ledger and protecting your wallet.
I think something interesting is like, we cover.
Sorry, Clinton, cannot hear you.
Can you hear me, Jacky?
No, cannot hear you.
You cannot hear.
Cannot hear you. I can hear.
Can hear.
I cannot hear.
I can hear Clinton.
Oh, okay. Jacky, you can't hear. Still cannot hear.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Can everyone hear me?
But I think that
I can hear both of you.
Can hear both. Oh,
Jacky can't hear me.
Maybe I cannot hear Clinton.
Okay, I'll just type it out.
Test 1, 2. Okay, I think that should be all lah. I think everyone can hear Clinton, but I cannot hear Clinton. So I think that should be all. Clinton is typing. But yeah, I think that should be all. Thanks guys, thanks for supporting. We hope that y'all can support us in our in what we do also. Tell more people about Change Debrief, tell more people about the stuff that we do. Our NFT collection, we hope that we can sell out. And yeah, thanks for joining us on your Friday night. I think that should be all. Jason, hey Jacky, just wondering why we decided not to cap. Oh yeah, so we'll have some announcement on the number of NFTs that we are going to release. So keep a lookout for that, Jason. Yeah. Okay. Thanks guys. Bye. Bye, some Fantom.